Whoops.
Thank you for being a friend. Travel down the road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a pal and a confidant. And if you threw a party, invited everyone you knew, you would see the biggest gift would be from me, and the card attached would say, thank you for being a friend.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday Night Golden Guys Show. We are the Golden Guys, just like the Golden Girls without all the sex appeal. We'll be waiting on our third member coming up really soon here. Good seeing everybody. But, yep, we didn't do a show last week. This one's a fun one. We're talking here about a few publishers that we can watch look at a few different covers that we like the most. Some interesting ones, I'm sure. We're definitely going to expect you guys in the chat are going to love us or hate us or do what you guys always do. But let me introduce DS. How we doing, man?
I'm good, man. Good to see you. It's good to be back. We haven't feel like I haven't done this show in forever. We missed a week there. So
yeah, 4th of July week was tough. I mean,
yeah,
then we moved in the week before, but it's summertime and everybody's there. But hopefully everybody's okay at home and everybody's safe from their firework injuries. This is not from fireworks. This is from stupid boxing, but it happens. So first off, a little bit of history, something right now. I just found out while we were getting ready to do the show, I just got a message from someone that another potential 9/8 candidate is from the Promise collection of a book from 1940 is there.
Ooh, nice.
So I don't know what it is. That's all I said was be on the lookout for the book from 1940. Okay.
Well, I'll tell you, I've been going on like once a week and just go on Heritage and type Promise. Just search the word Promise under the comics department and see what's for sale or coming up. And they're adding more and more Promise books for round 2. And it's super exciting to go on there and see the ones that are coming up next. And they've been adding more each week. So, yeah, if you haven't done that, go on Heritage and search Promise and see what's the next round of Promise books coming up. But before that auction, we should do another preview of that.
Absolutely. We're definitely going to do it. I think that's a great idea. We should do another preview of that show. I mean, we were over on some, under on some, way under.
Under on most.
Under on most. But one of the things is if you were happy with what you got, congratulations. I mean, that's one of the things. I mean, these are one of a one. It's not like there's multiple levels in there. It's not like there's 7 or 8 copies of the Promise collection of that book.
Yeah.
And the Promise collection has a great story. And I was real excited about all that. So
yeah, I think you can't, the prices on this stuff, you can try to predict, but you can't, you just gotta, the people that are buying these they go from a little expensive to off the charts. I mean, these are one-of-a-kind books, and you just got to pay what you feel is right, and especially for Golden Age books, man, that's the way you value it. You just go from the gut, and you pay how much you want it, what do you think it's worth, and it's like Wild West for Golden Age right now. There's no GPA, there's no data. It's just how much do you like it, how much can you afford it, how much do you want it, and that's it.
And like I joke with somebody, they were like, what do you think this would go for? I'm like, well, there's 7 on the census, so anywhere between $1 to $10,000.
Yeah,
I
right.
guess. And I like when people ask me for that question, especially when it's a book that I might have, and I'm like, well, yeah, I do have that. I do have 3 copies of that book, and they're like, I just found this one. What do you think I can? Would you want a 4th? I'm like, not really, but.
Yeah, the most fun thing about like watching the Promise auction and watching some of these massive rare GA books, the best part for me, it's fun to predict and see them, but afterwards to look back at the prices that they went for and to try to figure out why or try to reevaluate certain subgenres in Golden Age. And all I can say is what I've been saying for a while is Golden Age covers, the non-superhero stuff is really like a fine art category at this point, and it's just the rules of comic books are out the window for that stuff. It's just an art market now. And I mean, look, I was shopping for Albrecht Dürer original like works, which he did engravings, and then they used the engravings to print stuff. And there's
the German artist.
Yeah, the German artist.
Yeah.
And there was one awesome one I missed out on, but it only sold for like 11,000. Okay, and this is an Albrecht Dürer, is a legit piece. And then you've got like Phantom Lady going for $250,000. Okay, so look, this stuff is legit art at this point.
Yeah, I asked somebody who has when I talked about Kelly Freeze to a guy, and he said he had an original work of his, and I says, he goes, would you believe I paid less than $1,000 for that thing about 2 years ago? I'm like, no. He goes, yeah, it was at a antique auction in either Williamsburg or Williamsport somewhere, either Delaware, Virginia, because that's where he lives, down in that area or over in that area. And we were talking pulps, and we talked specifically some of the later issues of the digest ones and all the cool artwork that was in those. And then he flat out said, hey, I'm interested in this and this and this. I said, great. He goes, at the shop we have a signed copy of one of these. And he says, oh, well, I have an original artwork from one of these. And he showed it. And I'm like, and it's big, and I've seen everything, and I can't wait to get some more pulp stuff, more people on once the summer ends. I plan on getting a few people. I know there's some publications coming out for some people that I've been talking with, so I'm real excited about that.
Yeah, one other thing about the how I'm saying it's like an art market. There's a company, I don't know if they're new, but it's new to me. I think they're newish, called StockX, and they have a website where they are offering, it's like a marketplace for art, but they have fine art on there and they have collectibles. And I think it just validates that there's a lot of crossover these days from art, traditional art, into some of the collectibles. And StockX is like on the cutting edge of that mix, where they have a marketplace where you can buy actual art, and then you can also buy collectibles, and they have a section for comics. And I think there's a blending of interest among investors and collectors out there. And some of this old GA rare cover art is up there with it's in the art market mostly at this point. I think it's really not comic books anymore. It's like limited edition prints of classic works of art. I don't know. It's interesting to watch this develop as we go forward, but there's two diverging markets. There's an art market, and then there's a comic book market. And it's interesting to watch it develop and evolve.
Yeah. I think that's a great point, and the guys in the chat are bringing up some good points. Starling 49, Wonder 20. Yeah, I mean, actually, all the ones that I plan on showing tonight, there's no superheroes, and there's a story behind each one. I'm going to show, but let me introduce Mike Knights. How we doing down there? Good.
All right, guys. I got some technical. My computer, whatever.
No.
Laptop is.
While we do that, let's get some show and tell.
I'm getting my stuff.
You're getting.
I'm getting my published whatever my publishers.
Yep.
It kind of scrounged them all up, so I have to reorder them. But
it don't matter as long as we show off cool stuff. That's all that matters.
Yeah. Speaking of cool stuff.
Yeah. Speaking of cool stuff. JD, I don't know if you saw, but I was on DS's Golden Age show.
The Thursday night show?
Yeah.
Yeah, we missed our show last week here. So I had the Thursday night show that I do on Tales from the Flip Side, which is not strictly Golden Age. It's just old school stuff. We did Bronze Horror before that. But I was like, I asked Mike, since we didn't have a show last Tuesday, I was like, why don't you come on Thursday and we'll do a show together? And he showed off all his timelies, and it was a big hit. And
I'll tell you, a little crossover action going.
I like it.
Yeah.
I think next time you need someone to fill in, you should get JD to do a little pulp action.
Oh, pulp or Fiction House, yeah.
I mean, we'll get JD. Gonna come on there sometime. Plan to ask Jeff at some point.
Yeah.
And there's some other people. It's just, I don't know. It's week to week. I'm not going to be on there this week, but they're still doing a show. But I won't be there. But Yeah, it's a cool show, and yeah, I mean, it was just sharing knowledge across different platforms. Mike
Yeah.
was on this past week.
What was I doing Thursday? Oh, Thursday I was eating tacos with Lewis. We were discussing Pulp Fest, our plans for Pulp Fest.
Are you guys going?
Yep.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, we're going to
Better
Pulp
go.
Fest in Pittsburgh. So
Yeah,
That's
I want to
cool.
go to that sometime.
yeah, it'll be
All
fun.
right, yeah,
with
do
that.
the show and tell. Sorry to interrupt.
All right, no worries. That's what we do here. So, DS, you go first with yours.
Yeah, I got a
grab my one.
Yep. Some of these since we missed a show last week, I've shown these off on like my Instagram. So some of the people in the chat probably have seen them, but it's all Golden Age this time. I'm tapped out on Silver Age, so back to Golden Age. So picked up. This is a pretty rare pre-code horror book. Nothing crazy, but just a really cool, rare book that I've sort of known about for years, and you just don't ever see it. Head in the box, and then one there. The only thing I don't like, they put this text box over what looks like two shrunken heads on the wall. You get these cool like zombies coming in. Sort of a modern-ish trade dress on this book, but it's from 1950. 6.0 off white to white. Pretty tough book. I think it's like 15 or 16 on the census. So I was happy to get that. And then in the Promise auction, I can't hang with the big dogs on those books. But at the end of the auction, I scored a non-Promise book that I've been looking for. You guys know I've been looking for it. I don't know if I showed it off on our show here or not. I don't think I did, but it's a Wiz 18.
Oh, yes.
Classic train cover. You know, it's not like a dark GA book that I usually go for, but one that I've liked for a long time. It's just got so many cool details on here with the railroad ties and twisting of the metal, these bullets bouncing off. These guys with their guns and their gas masks on. It's just a funky looking train. I scored this on the Heritage at the end of the Promise auction. 6.5 off white to white, 1941. This is my favorite Wiz cover of the whole run. So I was happy to get that. It's like a poor man's Action 13. And then my favorite book of the bunch is this one, Flame 6 from 1941. This is a pretty rare book, and the colors were just so good on this that I couldn't pass it up. And yeah, it's just a bunch of different weird colors in here. And, you know, I don't know really what's going on. She's tied to a wheel, and this lobster creature is about to pull the lever. Put that
Who's
thing
the
on
artist?
there.
Who's the artist on that?
Well, it says George Tuska art, so I don't know if it's a Tuska cover and art or what, but it's a Fox book from 41. It's probably a Tuska, I would say, since he's the only one listed. I'm not an expert in Foxes, but this one was just too cool. And 3.0, I think there's only a few higher grade, maybe 3 higher graded than this, surprisingly. And then I picked up one I'll show you a picture of that I picked up this past weekend on Golden Age Gurus claim sale. So I'll give you a preview of that. But I picked up a Foxhole 1.
Oh,
Which is
yeah.
extremely rare, which is
That's
awesome.
awesome.
Yeah, I think there's less than 20 on the census, and it tops out at like 7.0, so I got a 4.5.
Are you going to get the book now or the magazine, whatever? The one that.
Oh, that goes with it with the original photo?
Yeah.
Yeah, so those who don't know, there's a photo that this is Jack Kirby cover, arguably the best Kirby cover pre-Silver Age. Well, I mean, Atom Age, not, I guess this timely stuff's better. But yeah, this is based on a photo of an actual GI with that high visibility bandage wrap on his face. So yeah, pretty stoked to get that. I just purchased it in his claim sale this past weekend. And yeah, so that's it. 4 cool Golden Age books is what I got going on. That's
Nice. Well, I don't have anything because I moved, but well, I do, but it's sitting at Heritage. That's being shipped. Actually, they said this week. So, and this was something that it's nothing big. It was actually a Sunday night, and I was like, I have it. Let me get another copy of this jumbo. You know, it was a better copy. So it was raw, which I like buying that raw because I wanted to check out the inside.
There was just the auction, wasn't there? Oh, is that video games? I thought someone was talking
Yeah,
about
there was a video game one. They just
Okay.
There's some big ones. So real good stuff. So, Knights, you have anything you want to show or?
I can, but I'm still trying to get this stupid thing
Yeah,
Sorry.
no worries.
You guys
So
more about yeah, I mean, I feel like I haven't talked to you in a long time, G. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
you've been moving. Was
Moved.
it crazy? Are you all done?
All done moved. Now it's more or less unboxing, unpacking, having to get a few things for the house that kind of one priority item. Well, here's just the thing. I had a great TV up until about when whatever debuted. It has to be some. It's 6 years old, so it's way outdated already. You know. So now I got to get a new one of those. But I'm not running around crazy. I've got 6 in the house for 4 people. But the one thing I need to get a few things here. But we have patio outdoor stuff, and want to get a Traeger grill for anybody who grills. I'm interested in a pellet grill by Traeger. Saving some up for that. Wife's working hard, so we can get a few things planned or not right now. Decorating is not one of my fortes, except if it's this room. And with this room, there's other things I do in this room. And so I'm like, okay, let's put all this stuff over here. All this stuff has to be put in the safe. All this has to be put over here. And the lockbox broke. So now I'm freaking out about that. Yeah. Not that the kids can get into this room, but just safety precautions. That, and I haven't, one of the things about moving, and I don't know if anybody's moved with comics when I move that many long box and everything else, you want to take the time to reorganize, and you never do. Mm-hmm. You're just more or less like, all right, this is, I want to figure out, do I want to display the books? There's no real sunlight in here, but I don't want to display I'm more into displaying the art. And that's the other thing. All my art I wanted to display on the walls in here, and planning out that is like, I give anybody who designs a museum gallery. I mean, I've got all the Mike Mayu art, all the Assad Ribic art, all the Buscema art. I haven't figured out where I want to put everything. So I just put up like 2 things right now. And Vader versus Thanos. Just up there.
The only thing I got on my wall is a Tron poster, an original movie poster from 1982. That's it.
Love Tron. Actually, I'm really interested in this new Dune movie.
Oh.
If they do the Dune the way the book was done, I'll be excited. If Dune is like the Dune from back in the day, which was cool, but I want the director's cut.
Yeah, that was cool. I think that was a David Lynch film, though, and he's out there. That's one of his very few films that makes any sense at all. If you watch like Twin Peaks or Mulholland Drive or Lost Highway,
Lynch,
it makes no sense. It's just like, I don't know, just surreal images, and it sort of makes sense on a moment-to-moment basis, but after you watch it, you're like, what the hell did I just watch? But Dune and like Eraserhead, Elephant Man, they would make sense. The rest of them, who knows?
Yeah, I'm interested in seeing what this new Dune, hopefully it's good. I mean, certain things were so bad when they came out recently that I was so hyped up for. A Wrinkle in Time ranks #1. I didn't even finish it. The Fantastic Four was worse than that, though. But we'll see. The new stuff is coming out, and I know Black Widow comes out this week, so people are going to watch that. I hooked up my new home theater system inside the room.
Nice.
So I got a new Denon stuff. I got my new LP player or record player or phonograph, if you will, comes 2 days. I've been waiting for this one. Carbon fiber, the whole deal. Really good. Oh. I got my new John Williams import. And then the speakers are Bowers and Wilkins that I've had forever, that I finally get a great receiver. My Pioneer Elite burnt out, so I had to go get a Marantz. So anyway, the main topic for tonight's show is we picked out some publishers. A couple of weeks ago we did your DC, we did your we did Timely. We did some Fox. We did a bunch of other ones, but there are so many publishers to choose from. We each chose a few publishers. I have 3 that I'm ready for, with 3 books each of my favorite covers. So I don't know who wants to go first, but we've got. So we can begin whenever you're ready.
I mean, why don't you go for it?
I have Atlas up first. Actually, I have a Brunswick, Chris Barrett, not an Edison. and Edison used tubes, and Edison is a tube, and I almost purchased one of those and got that done. But I do have a Brunswick from 1919 with the original bill of sale from 1923.
Wow.
And but I'm a big LP fan, and I just picked up some cool imports. One good thing about Omaha is there's always good record stores here. We've got like 5 or 6 big ones. I'll go first with Atlas, because we all know who Atlas is, and it's a fun one. And I'm going to start with, my number 3 is going to cause the most controversy, so I'll just go through. Number 1, in my opinion, of Atlas covers, this is just my opinion, throwing it up there, the Eyeballs, Astonishing 30. Artist by?
It's not Bill Everett.
Nope, I have a Bill Everett coming.
Maneely.
It's Joe Maneely. Correct, it's Joe Maneely. I do love this cover. Sorry, it's covering up nights, but it's one of my favorite covers of that era. Of if I were to pick the best cover now, is it my top cover? Do I have to have this book? No, but it is one of those that is probably my favorite Joe Maneely, and it's hard to choose. Each of mine, by the way, are different titles and different artists for the most part. That's part of the thing. So my number 2, got to throw this up there.
Oh yeah,
The Worm, and the artist on this,
Russ Heath,
one of the best Russ Heath. Period.
Russ Heath. I'll tell you what I like about Russ Heath. This is one of the few, but he's really good with light and shadow.
Yep.
Awesome with that. And a lot of times he has like an impossible light source. This one not. He put a lantern in it. But a lot of times you'll see a cover like this with no light source, and he just makes it up whatever he wants the shadowing to be, and it just creates it that way. And it's like an impossible light source. But yeah, the light and shadow from him is just fabulous on every cover.
Now, my number 3, there were so many to choose from of the war genre, and so many to choose from that we've shown on this show. But one we don't see a lot of that I think is the best of. It's the hardest one I chose was this one. Number 3 is The Russian Devil.
Yeah, Mystic 18.
Yeah.
Mystic 18 by the great Bill Everett. This is the Bill Everett cover.
That might be my favorite.
It is really hard to choose this one, but if you look at what we like the most about a lot of the Atlas war ones was the snow part. Well, we got that here. We've got the skeletons. We've got pretty much the Triple Crown here for us 3. Knights is being a big Bill Everett fan.
So
a little
good.
bit of some pre-code horror actually going on for Mr. DS Comics, and I just love the fact that this has got the color contrast between everything is just perfect right there, and the snow, and it's to me it's the most underrated book of the Atlas stuff, and it probably is. It's my number 1 for the bunch, but I thought it would cause a controversy. But
What year is that, do you think? I can't remember.
50. What do you think?
I mean, it's sort of later in the run. I would think 54.
Yeah,
off the top of my head.
Yeah, I mean it's not rare, but it's probably
It's
hard
hard
to
to find though. I've never owned this. I've been looking for this for years, and I've passed on a couple. If they come up, but I've never owned this book, and it's so badass. I love it. You don't see it very often, honestly.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite ones right there. So that's my Atlas run. If anybody wants to go next.
Yeah, I got some Lev Gleason.
Ooh.
Oh, I picked that too.
Nice.
Okay.
Oh, we've got a battle.
Let me see. All right, so these are not looking like they're in any type of order. So I'm just going to share my screen one at a time, and you can pop them up there.
3, 2, 1. Oh.
So yeah, Silver Streak number 1, first appearance of the Claw, first of the title. It's just from a cover standpoint, it's awesome. From a historical standpoint, it's awesome. It's a 1939 book. It's the first of a really cool title. And the title is actually silver foil, I think, on this one. And it's not, may not be silver foil. Yeah, silver metallic logo is what they call it. So it's like the 90s cover from 1939. I mean, how can you beat that? And it's just so badass. So yeah, these are not in any particular order, but this is one of the absolute best Gleason books. And that is a Jack Cole cover. He did a lot of stuff for early Gleasons.
And that there's an ad for that, I believe, in Marvel, either 1 or Marvel 2.
Oh yeah, cool.
Yeah, on the inside, and they swapped, like they did. I think it was on the inside cover or the back cover. But
This has a full page ad for Marvel Mystery Comics 2.
okay, yeah, there we go.
Nice. I didn't even know that.
They
So
swapped.
let me show you the next one here.
Oh, your screen came down.
Yeah, I got separate screens, so I'm gonna have to reshare.
No worries, no worries. I just want to make sure.
All right. So this one,
Yeah.
yeah. So this is Silver Streak 6. So this is a huge book.
2 out of 3 so far of mine.
Yeah, I just love the cover, but this book is very sought after. It's like a key. Again, I think it's a Jack Cole cover. It's just such an awesome cover, and it's such a cool book. I think it's the first Daredevil. And this book in recent years has skyrocketed in price. I'll probably never own one, but absolutely love it. It's so cool. There are some other fall covers I like that are obtainable, but this one is off the charts cool.
Before I knew like who LB Cole was or any of that, or refined my vision for his stuff, I always thought like he did this too. It
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, it does sort of have that look to it.
I don't know why, but yeah.
It's just such a monstrous cover, and it's so rare. It's so badass.
Yeah, I was going to say Silver Streak is one of the rare titles of the Liv Gleason run. And it probably is the coolest of the bunch. So really cool stuff.
All right, so let me show you the next one here. Last one from this title, but this would be one of my personal favorites. And I've passed on it a couple times. Yeah.
Is it 3 for 3?
It's Silver Streak 14.
3 for 3.
Yeah, I mean, this one is awesome. There was one of these that was like a VG or something, raw copy on Metropolis for a while, and I just didn't buy it, and I regret not buying it. But it's such a cool cover with these like Nazi skeletons. Yeah, so this is pretty classic. This is like halfway through the run. I think there's 23 issues in the Silver Streak. So yeah, this one
coming through. They're coming through there's tons of them. It's so awesome.
I know there's a whole line of them coming. So yeah, that's pretty cool.
I used to have this book, and then I had this one guy I did a big trade with, and he like had to have this, and apparently it was like his copy or something that he had sold years ago, but it was like, and then like I never saw it again. Like, I mean, this thing is like ridiculous to find.
It's pretty tough. Yeah, the one I saw was the only chance I've had at one. I think there might have been another one come up, but yeah, you don't see it very often.
Nice.
And then let's see, I got a couple more.
Sure.
Did I have any? I had 2 that were different.
Oh, this is a good one.
And now I can't see the pictures, so now I'm missing. But this is Boy Comics 10.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, it's such a cool cover here with this Iron Jaw.
Oh, Jimbo, you might be
all the swastikas.
Jumping the gun. I love it.
Yeah, so I mean, this is pretty classic. World War II tie-in with the swastikas, obviously, but black cover, early issue. Yeah, really, really nice. And these early boy issues are really tough too.
Yeah,
I see this come up occasionally. I think this one is still undervalued. I should pick one up when I see it because they're still pretty reasonable. I mean, I don't know about this 7.0 what it went for, but I think these early boy issues are still reasonable relative to other Golden Age stuff.
Okay, Knights, are you ready?
Well, I got a couple
We
more.
got a couple more for Liv.
Yeah,
Gleason.
but you took 3 of mine.
But that's okay. We're gonna finish Liv Gleason.
Well, I didn't know you picked Liv Gleason.
Yeah, remember we didn't know what pop
Yeah,
publishers we were gonna choose. Oh, I like it.
Yeah, Boy 11. I mean, it's
I
just
bet he's gonna get the other ones.
so classic. So this one is not as hard to find, I think. Maybe it's just because it's more popular, so the more of them come around and get passed around.
9.6 is pretty hard to find.
Yeah, I mean, I just picked off Heritage Good Images, so yeah, 9.6, insanely awesome.
Yeah.
I'll go quick through these. I got a couple more.
Hey, what was the title of that red Russian guy?
Mystic,
Mystic.
Okay, a Mystic, yeah.
Daredevil 11.
Good one. Good choice.
Oh yeah.
So she's tied up and he's tickling her, which is the torture. So, sort of a comedic type of torture going on, but there's all these cages where people are trapped in, and Daredevil's throwing his boomerang. But it's just the shadowing on this, the black cover of it. It's just, I really, really love this one. This actually might be my favorite out of all the ones I've shown, and I think it's obtainable. I just need to just get one, basically. But and then I'll show one more. Is actually in hand.
That's the one I want to see.
Ooh.
I'm putting you on the big screen.
So along with Daredevil 11, this is my other favorite Daredevil issue.
Gotta be
And it is Daredevil 27.
27. There you go, Jambo. I knew it was coming up.
That was one of my favorite
The
Gleasons.
cement boots. And by the way,
Yeah,
they're
I
rugs.
mean, she's tied up. They're giving her cement shoes. They're also whipping her with a cat o' nine tails. And this guy's got something else going on over here. I don't know what
Handkerchief.
this guy's doing. But yeah, shirtless, hooded guys. Yeah, it's pretty classic. This one's pretty tough to find. I think there's more on the census than you ever see come up for sale. I bought this a couple years ago, and I think maybe I've seen one since then.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Man, 6'5". That's
That's good.
Yeah,
That's a good one.
it's funny. This was a book I asked the guy about maybe 5 years ago. That was what I was looking for, and he's like, "Yeah, I have one, but I'm not selling it yet, or something." And then a couple of years later, I was talking to him, and I was like, "I'm still looking for this book," and he's like, "Oh yeah, do you ask me about that a couple of years ago?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Well, I have it at CGC. When it comes back, you get dibs." So when it came back, yeah, I definitely bought it.
I feel like in the Royal Rumble of DS's comics, that's one of the last few remaining in there. Like, of all your oldest comics that you've owned the longest, that's got to be in the top 10, I would say. That you still have.
Yeah, it is. It is. I'm trying to think. I've had a Startling Terrortale 11 longer, but it's a different copy. So I actually sold my first one and got a new one.
The Dynamic 8 hasn't been there long.
ones, yeah.
The Dynamic 8 is what, about a year old?
Yeah, I just got that recently. Yeah, last year, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know what else I have that I've had that long. Like, I don't even have any LB Cole stuff that I've had that long.
And I think you sold that, or you were selling that crazy pink.
Yeah, I sold that. I mean, look, I got to sell something to get other stuff, and I might as well sell stuff that I can get profit on or that I've had a long time. Because
You just got a Foxhole 1. We're not worried about it, right?
But that past, yeah, but the DS of the past is just turning over in his grave right now.
Well, I'm DS Comics PCH. I only have like 4 PCH books now.
Yeah.
So, whatever, it is what it is. Hey, I'm always evolving, and I like to keep the collection fresh. And when I have something for a long time, I'm happy to move it, and I still have owned that book. And I like the Horrific one I sold. I had 3 copies of that.
True.
Yeah. One more gone. Maybe I'll get another one, but I mean,
You wanted that you've had that Horrific one was pretty badass.
Chamber 19 I'd like back, but like Black Cat 50, Tomb of Terror 15, I've had a lot of most of the big ones before. I just don't keep them forever.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna bring up Knights' run right here. Let's go to the same one.
You see it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Crime Does Not Pay.
48.
Classic.
Charles Barrow.
Yeah.
Charles Barrow, yeah.
And this is live. Okay. Good.
I had a 6.5 slightly brittle of this.
All those hanging guys. I mean, these are kind of like my runners up. So it was, you chose, I think, all the other ones. Let me, God, why? Here's the other one that you didn't show. I thought was the interesting one.
Oh, that's, yeah.
The guys committing suicide.
Yep.
Yeah, this is a bad picture. Sorry, but you can see them down there on the bottom. They're killing themselves. What do they call that?
Seppuku.
Seppuku. Yeah. Seppuku.
I didn't realize that was on this cover, actually. I thought it was just the photo with the the knife. I didn't realize that was on the bottom of that.
Yep. So that's that. But I agreed with you. All the other ones.
Well, I had one more, and I thought you were going to do it, so I didn't show it.
Oh.
But since you didn't show it,
I'm sure I missed some.
here's the one I saved off because I thought for sure you were going to pick it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Crime Does Not Pay 24, Charles Bureau.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. Was it like Mr. Evil or Mr. Death out the window, encouraging this guy to push that lady's head down on the stove, which is actually catching on fire?
A rough day.
One of the most brutal crime covers ever.
Yeah.
I think this one is hoarded by a couple people.
Yeah, I think it is too. There's not enough to go around, and there's some people have multiples, and I don't ever see this for sale. I think it's not super rare. If you look at the census, nobody ever parts with them. That's a good one.
Knights, do you have another publisher up?
Yeah, it's like it's just having issues with moving forward on these. What you guys have laptops? What are you using to like browse your images?
I use my tablet and email them to me. Yeah.
Why don't you guys go with one other one, and then I'll just load it up into my usual thing that I did for the spinner rack. It just takes a minute.
No problem. I'll do Avon.
Okay.
So Avon was a little bit different for me because I could have gone a couple of different routes with Avon. But I wanted to grab a cover, my favorite cover, a very popular cover, and then one that's going to, probably not one of the best, but I think it's the best of the title. Now, Avon has an entire run of Journey into Fear. They have a lot of early Matt Baker work, and some of the best artists of the Golden Age come from there. So Avon has different titles, and I couldn't find. I wanted to grab one from a certain genre, so I grabbed a Western one. And number 3, oh, there it was, Cowpuncher right there. This is my great Jack Kamen cover here. One of the best ones there. It's the girl tied. There's one where she's tied to a wagon wheel, but this one, she's dress is torn. You have the fight over there. She's about to get branded. Kind of a chokes thing going on with her hat. So it's there. Avon doesn't, Avon has a lot of good stuff in there, but there's not a lot of issues of every type. Like they don't run forever. My number 2 is very popular, well-known classic cover by the great Wally Wood. There it is, Strange Worlds. The good girl art, the nakedness and the binding, the space part of it, really cool. One of the great Wally Wood covers right there. Again, if you have all this whole story is Strange World. So I had to choose a different title on this one, and this one was a no-brainer for me. It's my favorite Avon book. It's by the great Everett Raymond Kinsler, and it's Space Detective 3.
Yeah, real cool.
One of my favorite covers there. That is a vampire with a huge head wearing some kind of military garb with epaulets on it. Way out of there, way oversized with the good girl art there. Just perfect. The redhead, with the contrasting colors, with the red on the top all the way down. This book does come around often. Used to, and when we first did this show, I literally was bidding on a Tuesday night for one, and I lost it in the middle of the show. One of the first shows we ever did, and I remember saying at the end of the show, "Damn it! I should have just put the bigger bid down and not played games with it." And that's when DS says, that's the first thing I do is put my max bid out there. So this is it. Space Detective 3, one of my favorites right there. So those are the ones. Nice. Rick Akers says, great choices, JD. A lot of my favorite. Thank you, Rick. Kamen drew as many GTA covers as Matt Baker. I argue that Jack Kamen's jungle work rivals most anybody else's. His Fiction House stuff, his Jack Kamen, his original artwork is next to impossible to find. Of all the Golden Age artists, his is really, 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 really hard to find because his son actually picked up most of the original artwork because he is the inventor of the Segway scooter.
Oh, really nice.
Yes, Jack Kamen's son invented the Segway scooter. So, Jack Kamen, I'd want to throw a good one up there. Cow Puncher. If you do see it, it's a beautiful book right there in person. So, anybody want to go next? I just did 3 for that one.
You go DS.
Yeah, I've got Novelty.
Oh man.
Did you pick that too?
Yep.
Oh man, all right. Well, maybe I shouldn't show all of them then.
I think I'll be surprised if they're the same this time. Because actually, I did mine pre Cole.
Oh, okay. Okay, so you went like pre 49.
Because I feel like, didn't he like buy the company or something?
He
Or am I thinking of the other company?
He owns Star.
Yeah, he started Star Publications, but he bought some of the properties and then called it Star, and he kept some of the properties like Blue Bolt and switched it over. But yeah.
Sorry, we're going to show the first one, which is
mine are pre-Cole. So
okay, I have some pre-Coles too, but I won't show them. I'll just stick with the later ones then. So this is Target Volume 9, number 12, LB Cole. I had a lower grade copy, which I sold, and I plan to get a nicer copy because I really love the book. So in typical DS fashion, when I reached the new world, I burned my ships, so I'm motivated to move on. So that's why I sold the lower grade, and now I'm well motivated to get a higher grade when it shows up. But yeah, this is LB Cole. It's sort of like a Mask 1 feel to it. But you can't go wrong with LB Cole black cover. So this is awesome.
Yeah.
And it's pretty tough. I had one, and I actually bought it from Guru. Is who I bought it from.
Oh, nice.
He had a picture at a con of his setup, and so I zoomed in and looked at all the little pictures on his wall books, and I saw this one on there, and I hit him up. I was like, hey, I want that Target. Hold that off for me, and then I bought it from him. And it was raw, and I sent it in, and I sold it. So I do want another one of those. Then there is this one, which I have also had before.
Oh, yeah.
This one, I had a 5.0. It was really nice. Not something I want to keep forever, but it was nice to acquire it and enjoy it for a while. And it's Criminals on the Run. I can't remember what volume or whatever it's on there. LB Cole, just a killer shark cover. So yeah, I had one of these. Really cool book, tough to find. That's a good one. And then I picked one more that maybe people haven't seen before, but it's another LB Cole, very reminiscent of his Suspense Comics 11.
Okay. Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah, so Suspense Comics 11 is sort of a more diabolical version of this. It's sort of the similar theme and layout, except there's a massive devil on a bright yellow cover.
Right.
But the money aspect, the greed theme is still there. So yeah, a very, very tough book. I don't ever see this book come up for sale. But yeah, really, really nice book there. I've never owned it, never had a chance to buy one. I don't think I even can remember ever seeing one for sale, but I'm sure I have. And then the rest I have are Blue Bolts. So I'm going to skip those because it sounds like Mike's probably got the Blue Bolts covered. So,
yeah, maybe.
If I have one you don't, I'll come back. I have 3 Blue Bolts. So.
Okay. I can, let's see. I think I can go now. I have, let's see. Let me share this. And there we go. Oh, no.
There we go. You ready?
So there's, yep. Did it work?
Yeah.
Target.
Yeah, nice.
Good choice.
Just a neat, graphically pretty cool book. I feel like I've seen it on Instagram recently. Maybe someone got one. I can't remember, but yeah, I always like that one. And then I got 3 others, but I'm sure they won't be. Well, we'll see. I always thought this one was very interesting. Maybe not my favorite, but I thought it was pretty interesting, pretty early one. And then I love the first Black Bolt. I believe it's
I have
Simon.
that on my list.
Simon, yeah. And geez, I feel like I had a chance to get this once, only once, ever, like for sale. I mean, I'm sure I missed a bunch, but I mean, for years, I was way more like, hunting every 5 seconds. I've, kind of let go of that a little bit. So I'm sure I missed some, but I mean, geez, you tell me, like, when's the last time you've seen a Blue Bolt 1? It's just so old and rare.
Yeah, I was going to say it's just a classic cover. It's a great. Is it Simon by himself? Or?
Simon, yeah, because I think Kirby didn't come until either issue 2 or 3. Yeah.
I've seen a couple of these over the last couple of years on Heritage.
Okay.
And, I've actually bid on one, but I didn't win it. But I haven't seen others outside of that, really. But I think I've seen a couple on Heritage come up.
And then this one I just thought was really interesting. Yeah. It's just like crazy cool cover. Like, and unfortunately this picture is crap, but find this volume 5, number 3, and take a look because it deserves a way better viewing of with all the details in there. It's underwater. It's just awesome. I'm not sure who did this, but
I can't remember. It's not LD Cole or anybody big, but I remember when I first got into Golden Age and I would research titles, which I still do. This was on my list. I just never bought one, and I've moved past it where it's not on my list anymore. But this was a book I really, really wanted at one point. I still would pick up if I found a nice copy. I would still grab it.
And that's pretty. Look at how minimal the I almost called it the UI because I'm so used to in games, video games. But like, it's like, like you'd be playing the video game, with no information on it other than what you're looking at. It's almost like that. It's like the minimal version of.
Yeah. The Virgin variants before they were called Virgin.
Yeah. Totally. That was it for mine.
I have
we got to
Blue
see
Bolt.
DS's Blue Bolts because we're going to show some Cole. We got to show some Blue Bolts.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I don't have any more LB Cole.
Okay.
But, the Blue Bolt, once LB Cole took it over, the Blue Bolts are star. They're not novelty. So
That's true. Good point. Good point.
Mm.
But this is one.
Good class.
Yeah. I've seen maybe a couple of these, but they never look like they're in good shape. And I've seen like a 1.5 or 1.0. Man, I want like a mid-grade of this would be so badass. I just think it's so cool, sort of robot cover. It's a very rare one. I just never ever, other than this 9.6, I don't even remember when this sold, but I pulled this image off Heritage, obviously. But yeah, I never see this book. I've seen maybe 2 and they're beat up. And I would buy a nice, like even a VG copy. It's so cool.
It's crazy. Like, so that Blue Bolt 1 I showed, I guess it's 39, probably 1939. But, and this is only issue 11, but in between those 2 books, Simon went over to Timely, and then later he brought Kirby with him. They did all their Timely stuff, invented Captain America and all that, and then were fired before that Blue Bolt 11 even came out. Like, it's crazy how much stuff happened in between just those 2 issues. Pretty nice.
Here's the other Blue Bolt I had. This one is pretty cool. There's a lot going on in this one. Pretty sort of scary in a kid way on this one, but really nicely composed cover here. Well, the layout's really pleasant to look at.
I almost put that one in.
It's got good depth. It's got good arrangement. It's got good colors. It's just a very nice piece of art. I had a 5.0 of this. I sold to Sean, Pete Monster. I don't regret selling it, but I maybe would have held it on a little longer because I bought it and basically flipped it as part of getting funds for other stuff at the time. So I didn't really have this that long at all. But in retrospect, I maybe should have held it for a little longer just to enjoy it longer. But I mean, not a massive book, but just a super cool little golden age oddity out there that most people haven't seen before.
Nice.
Is that a real? So is that the one on the right? Is it someone dressed up like a skeleton, or is it an
I
actual?
think the one on the right is a real skeleton.
Okay, that's
And
cool.
the one on the left, he's holding a bone in his bone arm, and then the one on the left is a guy holding a skull, and then the little kid on top's about to drop something, and you can see this guy coming through the doorway. But you can see all the way back way back behind him. There's another figure way down that hallway. There's a lot of depth to this one. It's a really, really neat stuff.
All right, Knights, you're up. Pick a publisher. Oh,
See, get this. I went with Stan.
Alan, I think you're right. That was a Simon Kirby combo, Blue Ball 3. That was why I was, because I knew one was Simon. Right.
So I got a, what did I picked here? Start with this one. All right, I'll share my thing.
Who's the publisher?
Standard.
Nice.
Oh yeah, Standard, nice.
Okay. It's funny, none of us, again, I did not choose EC.
I thought about it, but I would.
Yeah, I was like, it's so much to go through.
I'm not an EC guy. It's just they're good books, but I don't collect them. I've only owned a couple. I don't even feel right doing EC because I'm just not an EC guy. I mean, I guess I know the keys and the big ones, but yeah, maybe I'll pick that next time.
Yeah, if there's a Johnny Craig or a Lee Elias or something like that I go crazy for or something, But all right, here we go.
Yeah, so I think it's around 43, 44. Classic Schomburg.
Mm-hmm.
And
would you do Nidor as well?
I don't know if the website I was looking at put them both together.
Yeah, because I don't know how they broke those up.
Yeah.
Well, most of the novelties on my comic shop they list as Funnies Inc.
Yeah. It gets a little wacky looking through.
Yeah, when you get Superior Comics, which has some really cool ones, they always link Superior with somebody else as well. St. John is a link.
Yeah, mostly Ajax Farrell.
Yeah.
I love this one.
That's a guy. I like that one too.
Yeah.
I'd love to get one of these and pair it with my Cap 26. 26.
I was going to say Cap 26 in this one.
There's that would pair nicely also with that Fight 11 or something, the underwater fight cover. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. That's a good one.
It's got greens in it, I think.
Yeah.
I
think there's a shark on that too. It's underwater.
That Fight 11 was on my I think it was on my Fiction House list.
I think it's 11. I'm not 100%. I think it's Fight 11.
And this one,
Graham Ingalls, good call out.
This was thought to be a lot rarer than it is. I mean, it's still definitely rare, but it was one of the Gerber in the Gerber books that's blank.
Oh, that's always
cool. They couldn't find one at the time.
It's a lot surprising, actually.
I mean, not a lot have surfaced, but at least 10 or so since then.
We can't wait to bring the Gerbers in.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this one, I went a little bit more than 3, but
that's fine. Keep going.
This one's just so brutal. It's just pretty crazy. And there's also a Cap USA. I think it's number 14, maybe. I should have put a picture in there, but it's very similar where they got these like rollers on the Japanese beaches.
I was going to say that's from 45, that USA, right?
Yeah.
That's like I think that's one of the last USAs that are pure war, right?
It's close, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's the second to last one or last.
Yeah,
one.
and I think Cap or Bucky's about to throw like a bomb on them.
Yeah, yeah.
It's so good one. There's also a Marvel mystery where I think the Germans are using a spiked roller to flatten some USA guys, but that'd be a cool triple cover show off. This is probably my favorite one. I used to have a couple of these. They're putting poison in chocolates and selling them. It's pretty hard book to come by. And they sell this is like one of the most liquid Schomburgs there is.
Yeah.
And then I always just like this one. It's not
I was
really,
going to say you're going to have to go. The Fighting Yank has got to
but
make
it's
it
great action, very dynamic, and I love the like, all this stuff is about to happen right away. It's pretty cool, and it's still got a really cool circular composition, good Schomburg, but it's not crazy busy, like his usual stuff.
One of the things I wanted us to talk about one time was Schomburg's influence, not maybe direct or indirect, on the modern superhero form, because I've always said that if you look at the Black Terror, the Fighting Yank, even some of the Cap covers, that the hashing of everything reminds me of the great, obviously Buscema, Gil Kane, just go right down your line of your favorites, Silver Age artists. I'm not naming Kirby because Kirby was doing it back then. But Gil Kane, the guys that came on in the late 40s post-war, doing some Golden Age stuff. But then when they really got into the show, that the form of the superhero action, the Marvel way, so to speak, they call that. I'm not saying
I was thinking of maybe asking you guys if you thought this would be a good idea, is to maybe do like a little mini Schomburg spotlight on like every show, where it's just like a different aspect of maybe go through his timeline or his different styles. Or
we should do another we should do a Schomburg, because I think all three of us have him in our Mount Rushmore. So
and there's a lot to, but one thing kind of to go with what you're saying would be really interesting to me is to see if I could dig up any like articles that talk about those artists, those newer breed, talking about the Schomburg influence.
Yeah, I wonder if, because I don't know if it is. That's one of the things I always.
Yeah.
When I ask the artist, when I would interview somebody or talk to somebody at a con, I always ask who their influences are, and they would say, "Well, I don't pattern my style after this guy, but my biggest one that I always flocked to was a Gil Kane, and I know for a fact Gil Kane did learn a lot from Alex Schomburg."
I feel like he might be the closest there is.
Oh yeah, I compare like when people like Buscema took on Kirby's style, Kane took on Schomburg's.
I did ask Neil Adams once about Schomburg, like if he had any stories, because in person, he's pretty fun to talk to. Yeah. But he was like, that was before my time. But but he didn't say anything bad about him, so I think that meant that he respected him as an artist, because he'll poo-poo on people.
There is something written by. I have to go through my fanzines, because a lot of the stuff I find in the fanzines are really good, and that's where I found out how much some of the artists, like the Hal Foster, influenced so many people, and the Tarzan and everything else of the Golden Age guys. And the fanzines talk a lot about it, and I think it was Dick Ayers who talked specifically about Alex Schomburg, and he would. The pile of cigarettes and everything around everybody never bothered him, but God forbid if you spilt something close to him, he lost his mind, But I always heard some good things, but yeah.
Well, and sometimes, I've read some things and talked to some of these older guys, and their whole take on like influence is kind of different than what we're used to, and especially different to today's people, because even before our time, gathering reference was harder, believe it, than for us,
Right.
And then, nowadays you just go on the internet, but like, back in the 70s or whatever, or even 60s, unless you had these comics, I mean, where are you going to see them at all? You won't see any, and there weren't really collectors. So like, it was just in your head, I guess.
The most common name I always got when I talked to Bagley or Chaikin or the 70s guys was Gil Kane. And then
that's what you can find.
And that's what they would have. But I'm like, and then when I asked Don Rosa, he brought up how much some of the artists that he liked, obviously Carl Barks for him was number one, and that makes sense. But he also mentioned guys like Jack Kamen and some guys mentioned Matt Baker, so it's all that, whatever they could get their hands on at the time when they were collecting or buying or getting into it. Some guys weren't really comic guys that just drew comics because it was a job. That's a good one.
Great one. You could just, they're going to blow her right in half. It's pretty crazy.
She's not going to make it.
This was one of the ones I was after for a long time. I ended up getting it. But man, it was brutal to even find a copy of this. It's probably a little easier today, but yeah. And then probably my favorite.
Yeah.
That's a classic of the Thrillings. Yeah.
I mean, it's just so great. If you can get a nice copy of this, you won't be sorry at all. There's so much cool stuff to look at. That like awesome eagle, the like bedspread, Mussolini under there. It's really, really cool. Great Hitler.
Yep. Which we didn't when we did the Liv Gleason, we never showed Daredevil 1. Just throwing it out there. I know
not my favorite, really.
Not mine either, but I know it's very sought after, I should say.
Yeah, the Daredevil.
Daredevil one is most sought after covers right there. Right, and back then everybody saw Milton McCann and Alex Raymond. I was going to bring up Flash Gordon right there.
That's right.
I was going to bring up Flash Gordon. I was going to bring up the dailies, the Will Eisner references.
Yeah, that's what they saw the most of. That makes a lot of sense. That's really interesting.
Yeah, so you got the Tarzan and the Hal Foster, Alex Raymond doing the great Flash Gordon stuff. So cool stuff. Next, I'll show my next one. Now, my next one's very different. It's Ziff Davis. I chose.
Ooh, yeah, nice
comic painted covers. So Ziff Davis did a lot of pulps, and I wanted to shout out to the pulp world and everything else. One of my favorite pulps that Ziff Davis did, and I blaspheme when I say this, they didn't do the Amazing Stories. They did the Amazing Stories reprints. But when you talk about Ziff Davis pulps, Fantastic Adventures is always going to be my number one. So I went with that style, and I grabbed some cool ones here. Now you're going to have 3 different artists, and if I'm not mistaken, this I think is Alan Anderson did this cover. There's Murphy Anderson and Alan Anderson. So this was not Murphy. This was Alan Anderson. This is really cool. You have a black and white, and this is all painted, black and white, like shocking cover. Like the guy's got it's the Emperor when he wore a hat. It's Palpatine when he wore a hat, and it's zapping this. And look at the over exaggerated Batgirl with her shirt getting torn. The color contrast of the pink and the green with the blue on top, and the zap right there. It's called Weird Thrillers. There aren't many of these. This is one of the cool pulpish style covers of the Golden Age era. These were later Golden Age. Cool book. I just love, if you look carefully at that guy on the left, he has almost like no color to him whatsoever.
That's awesome.
It's just a cool cover.
Phantom Stranger.
Yeah, very Phantom Stranger.
Yeah.
Without the lightning bolt part. Then I went with, this is the great Norm Saunders. So Saunders is one of the top pulp guys there. This is a classic of the Ziff Davis line. The girls are beating the crap out of your hero right there. And then there's a guy with almost like a Roman legion aspect to it right there. And you've got, I'm not saying this is Amazonians, but it's just really cool. The girls are drawn really well. 100% painted cover as well, which you have to look for because, some of them are going to be slight painted and not, this is 100% Norm Saunders cover. This looks like it literally came off of a pulp from the 40s.
Yeah, that's cool.
Really well done on this one. And then I did this because we showed some robots earlier, and I have to show Murphy Anderson now. And probably my favorite of that bunch, of the Ziff Davis bunch, just hysterical in its own right. Are you kissing a robot? Yes. And is the robot controlled by an alien? Yes.
Yeah.
Why not?
That's
so
my favorite Ziff Davis right there.
Yeah, you've got headlights, you've got an alien, you've got a robot, you've got coloring, you've got a painted cover, and it's Murphy Anderson, who most people associate it with Superboy and everything with DC later on in his career, and Superman and stuff like that. Did a lot of work with DC, but this is probably one of my favorites of the Ziff Davis line. choosing some fun ones was my favorite to go through.
Yeah, and that looks like a 70s underground like cover, honestly.
Yeah.
It's so cool. It's like a steampunk alien romance cover.
Yep.
Very cool.
So those were mine right
Yeah, I
there.
really want one of these. That's my favorite Ziff Davis.
Nice. Next, who's got another title?
I don't have any more.
Okay, I'm almost ready. Let's see. See if I can get
Oh,
this.
you're right. Creep Show, 1982. There's a great story of Wrightson and Creep Show. The cover was, I think, the cover of that comic was Cayman. And the interior stuff was done by Bernie Wrightson. And the agreement was that he would write the forward to a book, that Stephen King would write a forward to the book. And I have my first edition copy of that book. The introduction is by Stephen King from 1982. Yeah. And this is my original first printing, signed by the great. Sorry, my hand's broken, so I'm dealing with a fracture in fifth
I'm so jealous about that.
Of my favorite book, of my favorite. I've got a Bernie Wrightson original art piece too that I keep, but this is it here. And Scott, you're 100% right. The influence that PCH and you had Kamen and you had Wrightson, and Wrightson's Frankenstein to me is the greatest artwork done by any American ever. So I don't argue with people on that one. I just say I'm right and you're wrong. So it's the best. I
still need to get that. I've never owned a copy of that Frankenstein.
Yeah. I've got the portfolio signed by Wrightson. I've got copies of that thing. I've got so much of that Frankenstein that if I see it, I can't help myself. So if you guys do one off the cuff, I'd like to know each of your favorite 3 Centaur covers. That's one that I was looking at. Says, how do I start Centaur? I probably would go with my favorite title way that the Centaur, you can look at so many different things, but C. Holmes will definitely do Centaur.
Yeah, I actually bid, and I didn't bid super strong, but I bid decent on a Amazing Mystery Funnies #1.
Good call.
Which is not the first Centaur, but it's in that first group of Centaurs ever published. Mm-hmm. But it's the first issue of like their flagship title.
Yeah, Everett, awesome
Everett cover. Yeah, and it was like a 4 or 5, and I think I bid like $3,500 on it, but it sold for over $5,000, which that makes sense. But
if you look on GPA, you'll find a copy of that sold for like peanuts.
Yeah, I believe
not that long ago, and I was so mad that I like missed.
Was it at eBay?
I don't know. There's something about some of these Golden Age books. There's some titles and publishers that just every now and then they'll slip through.
Yeah,
you can get it cheap, but yeah.
Well, somebody who picks one up who's not heavy into comics, who's just picking up random stuff out there, like thrifty collector, like flippers. That wouldn't necessarily stand out as some awesome book. So that Centaur could slip through.
Yeah.
Amazing Man 22 is one of the best Centaurs, obviously. Yeah. I like that Amazing Mystery Funnies 1. I'd have to research. I'm not like a Centaur guy. I just know them when I see them. They're very recognizable. There's a couple of the Arrow that are really good too.
Yeah, Arrows. And Everett did a lot of cool covers.
Yeah.
And I didn't choose any Airboys, by the way. Yeah, I have to go back to that run.
Yeah, we could do Hillman. They did Airboy.
Hillman Publishing. There's like so many I wanted to do for this one, but I wanted to make it another part later on because it's really hard to do as many as we originally planned to do. But let's see what Knight's brought up. Who's your publisher? I could tell.
All right. Well, okay. I think one of them is Bell, but really these are just Canadians.
Good call.
There might be.
You could have throw Superior up there. They're Canadian.
I'm not entirely sure what publisher a lot of these are, but I mean, there's not that many to begin with. But this is one I feel like DS, you might know more about this one than me. But...
Yeah, I had a copy of the American version of this.
Okay.
And it's not nearly as cool of a cover as the Canadian one.
Mm. And it says, does the other So it's a totally different cover.
It's a different cover, and this one has the hammer and sickle on it. That's not up there on the. It's a completely different cover. Yeah.
Oh wow, that's
This one, A Communism in Canada, is obviously not on the American one.
yeah.
Yeah, totally different.
I would guess this is a pretty hard book to find.
I don't think I've ever seen
I've never seen.
that one, that version. I mean, I may have, but I'll show you the American one. It's really not. The American one is not spectacular. It's all right. I mean,
Let me bring up DS
Yeah.
on the big screen.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, this is the one. Yep.
and this is the one that has a whole bunch of different variants. It's America under communism. Yeah, I mean, it's decent.
Mm.
Um,
Isn't
This
there
one-
one with the Capitol on
Canadian
fire?
one is better.
this one has numerous variants. Here's one of the variants with the price. So it has
Right.
a price in a black circle, a price in a red circle, or just a black circle with no price, or just a white circle with no price, or no circle at all. So there's like 5 or 6 different price sort of variants for this one.
And you know somebody's got to have every one.
Yeah, I had 2 of them before. I think the coolest one, not that it makes a huge difference. Let me see if I can find one here, is the one with the red price, just because it's a little extra red on the cover.
For some
Well-
reason, Canada loved the red. It's on their flag.
I don't see one here. Here's one with the blank circle.
Okay.
So yeah, there's just different variants for them, but it's a pretty common book, the American one, and there's probably several on eBay, and you can find, decent copies of that for not very expensive. It's pretty cool.
Nice. Nice. You ready for next?
Yep.
Okay, let's show the Canadian. Is that a Canadian red I see?
I mean, I think it's
Is it
still
black and
considered
white
a
inside?
white, but
Yeah.
this is very cool. And I've only seen it on like the boards and stuff, not ever in person.
Yeah, that's nice.
Triumph is a very. I don't even know if it has the number on there.
And
Yeah,
it's a great Canadian band, too.
it's pretty awesome. And a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never seen that one before.
Ah,
Here's-
that's a good one.
Here's
yeah.
one. Bell.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. It's
That
so
is
that's I would guess a Canadian soldier then.
Yeah, man, it doesn't look like an American helmet at all
Right.
No.
from any period of time.
But that's pretty cool. I mean, God, if you're Canadian and into this stuff, I mean, that's got to be in the top 3 of like Canadian military covers, right?
Oh, yeah.
Probably up there. It's pretty good.
It's pretty awesome. I bet this census report on this is pretty ridiculous. Canadian. Well, I mean, it's a Canadian edition, so I don't know. Maybe there's a U.S. version of this, I guess. Commando.
Sometimes a lot of Atlas was done in Canada, too. But they were
Here's
always
a
cheaper paper. Oh, that's another good one.
Triumph with Nelvana, one of my favorites. This is not her best cover, but I thought it looked pretty cool. She always looks pretty badass on these covers. She's never looking really goofy or anything.
She obviously was never on World's Finest.
Here's one.
Couldn't be a show if we didn't bash World's Finest once.
So WoW comics?
Yeah. But I don't think that's a WoW one that we know of.
No, it's not even a Canadian edition. It's a totally different title. It's like
That's cool.
15 cents.
And
It's
it's like,
expensive.
I mean, it's very brutal. Wiz Wallace. I don't know who that is, but at the bottom there.
Oh,
And here we go. One of my favorite. I
Yeah.
think I'm not sure if this is her first appearance or not.
Marmaduke.
Yeah, totally looks like Marmaduke.
Yeah.
So this
Yeah.
says Hillsborough Studio, I think. And then I do know that I think at least by Triumph 7, which is my favorite one, it went to Bell Publishing.
Okay.
So here we go. This is, God, I swear to God, this is the worst like technical difficulty day today. Here's my favorite one, which I've been looking for
Wow, that's pretty badass.
for I don't know, as long as since I've known about it.
What was Nelvana like? Was she like a Valkyrie or something?
I don't know. I'm invaded by sorry,
Yeah.
distracted. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know her powers or nothing.
Yeah, that's a good cover, the Hitler cover. I've never
Yeah.
seen one either.
Yeah. I mean, if you have this or get a lead on it, let me know. Although I don't know if I can compete with today's prices, but I'd give it a shot for sure.
Well, I bet this would be cheaper than you think, but not cheap.
Well, I know there was one or so not too long ago, and it was not cheap.
Well, I bet you it's cheaper than your American Hitler covers, but yeah, there would be a lot of competition for that book.
Yeah, I'd be surprised. I would guess. I mean, I'd be surprised if a very, very low grade would go less than 10K on this one.
Really? I would think like a 2.0, maybe like 4K or 5K.
Not if it's in one of those big auctions.
Yeah, I don't know. That would be interesting. That's what I'm saying though. Like you couldn't predict it.
I would if it was say it was a 2.0 and it looked really nice, presentable, no like brittle or any weird thing, I'd say I'd have to bring at least 15K to the table.
Wow. Good numbers.
And lately my numbers, which I think is good enough, are like half.
Yeah.
So, but like you said, yeah, and I have heard some prices are not, some sales haven't been as high as people were hoping or expecting in the past couple weeks for some things. I don't know about Golden Age, but.
Well, Alan, yeah, the Franklin Booth writes in Sal the homage to his 20s. I have heard that. I actually know that Virgil Finley, one of the best pulp interior guys, who did a lot of covers as well, but his interior is ridiculously good. A lot of that was taken from there, and one of the great ones is. But I just think the line work of Wrightson's pencils are just on Frankenstein rival anything we've ever seen.
This is our first solo title. Again, another. I've never had the opportunity, and yep. But throughout my DS has a more like I don't know, steady pace for me. Like I'll like go crazy and blow a ton of money, and then I'll basically like I won't look at any auction for like months.
Yeah.
I take time off after a big purchase. I'm like, okay, I got to take a break.
Yeah, I usually sell stuff though. I try to keep the wheels of industry always turning.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, so I'm always selling something so I can keep it going. That's why
the Lehigh
round,
get rid of your bottom 10% to fund the rest of it. That's the Lehigh Coca style of comic collecting.
I'm the like fighter who goes the 8 million rounds and then doesn't fight again for like 2 more years.
Yeah. I'm in between.
Especially, if I have to do like a what is it? I don't know, Heritage or Connect. One of them, a couple books I like had to.
I am saving up for September though. I am that.
I paid them like, once every every month. I just kept paying them.
I am saving up for the September Heritage feature auction for sure.
That's it. This is it for me.
There is one Triumph I like. I'll show you if you want to see it. I don't really know these ones that much, but this number 26. I always thought this was a cool cover.
Oh yeah, it's I like it. It's just a little goofy, but.
Yeah, it's a little goofy, but it's a giant, I don't know what's going on here, but it's a giant cloaked person sort of just burning the city with a torch.
Yeah.
And I don't know what city that is, but I bet if you're Canadian, that stands out as a particular city. But I don't know. I think it's a cool book. This one is the one that sold in Heritage, Rockford copy, but Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty cool. I don't know much about the Triumphs, but I saw that one once. So I just thought that was a cool one.
Nice.
Are there any sales of the other ones in there?
I don't even know.
Yeah.
So one of the Paul publishers I was looking at literally was just going to be all this like Prize Comics was one.
Oh, yeah.
It was like I made a list of the publishers that we did and we didn't do, and I'm like, oh, let me throw Prize in there. We haven't done Fawcett yet. You did see my favorite Fawcett tonight. Thank you very much, DS.
Yeah, mine too.
Yeah, it's the best Fawcett. It's the
18.
train. Yep. And so if we haven't done Fawcett yet, we haven't done EC. I was thinking St. John's would be a good one as well, because you can add Orbit Publishing in there. You can add a few other ones. But when they started to get the problem you have with the Golden Age, with the publishers, with the later publishers, is the conglomerate of them. When they started merging and random ones started showing up, where, for example, Prize Comics doesn't have, their longest runs sometimes are, Treasure or something like that, but they also have, you just run into something where it's like My Secret Romance, and I'm not the best romance or love comics or any of those style. I mean, it's raunchy enough I probably know about it versus something like Diary Secrets or A Young Love, Young Romances, my Best Marriage or My Marriage Wonderful, all those ones that were out there. And then thinking of other publishers out there, I mean, we haven't done AGC, which means we'll have a Ken Bald run.
Yeah, ACG. They have a lot of
ACG.
horror. They have some romance and some funky stuff.
Yep, well, that one there, and so that's good. And I think that was always fun. And to revisit things, we could do post, some later ones. But I was always thinking it's harder to do the publishers that are bigger. And then when you pick the really small ones, you really have to really go into it. So, like, for example, Ziff Davis, I had to make a decision to do exactly, like when I did the Ziff Davis, I had to choose. I said, let me just do the painted covers that I like the most. So, and by Murphy Anderson and Alan Anderson and you can't really go wrong. So,
St. John's good though. They have some war, some horror, some romance.
Got a lot of good crime.
Yeah, they have a lot of Baker stuff. St. John has a lot of Baker stuff for all three of those genres. Westerns too.
Westerns.
Yeah, there's quite a few still publishers out there. But yeah, a lot of the publishers are small, like Comic Media. There's some stuff for them.
Yep.
I don't know if we did Holyoke or not.
Nope. Man,
There's a ton of more.
Yeah. There's a lot of other publishers.
So what are we doing this for? We definitely will do a Centaur one there.
Yeah, Centaur's good.
I have this one comic to show DS.
Did we do any Dick Briefer at all?
Well, wasn't that? No, but he was under Prize. Didn't Prize do the Frankenstein run?
Yes.
And I think he actually did.
He did a lot of other titles.
Covers. He did some covers on Silver Streak too.
Yep. And one of the Prize things you run into is early 40s Frazetta interiors.
Yeah.
So, but that doesn't count for the covers. Most of those covers are Cayman-esque or along those lines.
Yeah. What did you have, Mike?
If you see,
nice.
I just was perusing the Japanese vintage mangas and saw this one, and I was like, oh, if DS was buying these, he would this would be one he'd like probably.
Yeah, that would be on my list for sure.
Yeah.
1969. I don't know who the artist is, but I thought the skulls and the eyes and the skulls were pretty cool.
Was there an era of the manga that is similar to the Golden Age? Is it like, what year does that stop?
Well, there's several ages, but it's kind of like from the end of World War II to
Right.
Probably about 60s, mid 60s.
Okay, and that's considered the Golden Age of
Pretty
manga.
much. I mean, because at a certain point I don't know. You'd have to talk. Well, there's no one to talk to.
Really what I know.
I tried to talk vintage manga. You know, I was all into it when I first started getting into like 3-4 years ago, and like I was like, all right, I'm gonna find some people, and it was like, no, I'm not. And then I like talked to all these like, you know, huge Japan geeks who are into the toys, and some of them live over there and all that, and they're like, no, I don't know anybody who collects this stuff. So
Really? Wow.
yeah,
But that makes it even rarer because you know it's not being kept or preserved or collected.
yeah. Yet when I go to buy stuff, there's definitely some competition. So I don't know. I don't know if it's in the U.S. or where, but yeah. But
I don't know the extent of mine. I had an Akira. I had 2 copies of Akira #1. That's the extent of it. But I'll tell you, I will buy an animation cell from Spirited Away if I ever see one, and it's a decent one, like the 3 bouncing heads or something cool from Spirited Away.
Yeah, those are very expensive. Anything like Studio. I did.
Heritage has the animation cell stuff, and I haven't seen any Spirited Away animation cells. And you know, I may have missed some, but I peruse those every once in a while, or I search Spirited Away on Heritage, and I haven't seen any animation cells from Spirited Away yet. But that's one of my all-time favorite movies.
Yeah, I missed out on all of the Land Before Time ones that I wanted. So.
Oh man, that'd be a good one too.
Yeah, my kids love Littlefoot and everything else. And I remember when that movie came out, I had a nephew that was big into it. And now we've seen every single one. My kids got every stuffed animal of every character.
I got a recent from the Golden Age period. If you want.
Okay. Yeah, let's bring it up. Here we go.
So I love ninjas, and this is from the early 50s. So I would say this could be Storm Shadow's like dad or something.
Oh, nice.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
But very cool. It's actually there's some ninja titles, but they typically don't. They're like anti-mask. They usually have the mask down. I mean, even this guy, you know, he's got the nose showing through.
Right.
So, and I don't, you know, they just look so much cooler with the mask down. But yeah, this is pretty cool. This very old, and it's actually not. It's like kind of comic, but not really. I don't know. Like, it has like writing on the sides.
Oh, it's like an illustrated text story.
Yeah, but it's like
a lot of illustrations.
Tons of them. Yeah. I mean, there's no page without at least 4 of these. So, but yeah, cool. I forget the name of it, but
so it's right there it's right there. Read that.
Izumairi or something. Yeah, but and then I did get this is a like Game Grail. I got the first
Metal Gear.
Yeah, but this is like super rare, hard to find. Before they even put it on Nintendo, it was on this system called MSX.
Oh.
But yeah,
is that Konami put that out?
Yeah. Yes. Come on, DS. When are you gonna get into video games?
I'm probably not, because number one,
Alan, I was going to mention the Philippines artists as well, because that was a big thing in the 70s with Marvel and DC going to get a lot of them. But I was wondering if they had the same thing that happened over in Japan.
This is I was getting into like the origin of survival horror games like Resident Evil, and that's why this is a very old Nintendo game called Sweet Home.
You know, one of my favorite Nintendo games ever is impossible for me to find because I would play it today on my Nintendo, my original. It's called Romance in the Three Kingdoms.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
The second one is impossible to find. The first one I see every once in a while go up, but
here's another rare one called.
But I would open up and play it. Yeah, War.
Yeah, the video games. I don't have enough money to go into other collectible areas really, but I also don't. I'm not like super passionate about video games. There are some video games I really liked playing, and the market is too speculative for me, and it's just too much money, and I just I don't have a passion enough. I mean, there's some video games I would want just because I like them, but beyond that, I don't really have a passion for video games, really. I don't know. I like some. I didn't even own a Nintendo when I was younger, but I played Nintendo at friends' houses and stuff, and so I'd go over there every day and we play Nintendo. But I never actually owned one.
Here's one you'd like, JD.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I would take anything Star Wars though. That'd be cool.
I have the Nintendo Star Wars one. That's from what? That's really cool.
This one's they actually did before the NES one in America. It's an actual totally different game.
Oh wow, that one looks better.
It's pretty wild. Like Luke has his lightsaber before he even meets Obi-Wan. It kind of just goes, totally off the.
Yeah, I would buy that.
It's got a cool shiny cart.
Yeah, nice.
I'll have to show my my movie room has nothing but original Star Wars art all over it now.
It's got some cool Japanese manga illustration.
Nice.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I
would pretty much
with the Japanese Chewbacca.
Yeah, look at that
one. Yeah.
Like,
without the bandolero on him. It's a Japanese drawing of Chewbacca that was done way back in, I think, 78 or 79 for something, and somebody had it for sale, and I asked him what he was asking for it, and I'm like, ugh, can't do it.
Yeah, I'll tell you, my video game collection would not be worth money. It would consist of GoldenEye, Altered Beast, SSX, Donkey Kong Country, and then like the Super Mario Brothers, obviously.
Yep. My kids play Super Mario 3.
I don't know. What was Double Dragon? That's a pretty cool one.
Blades of Steel.
Castlevania
was one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have that. I have Castlevania. I have Contra. I mean, I have like all 20 of my original games. I have Silver Surfer, which is harder than that third level of Ninja Turtles. Silver Surfer game. It's just the worst. I mean,
I'll buy an old cabinet, an original of Galaga. I'll buy that someday because I want to play Galaga. That's my favorite game of all time.
I think there's a guy with one of them here. We have a couple of what they call beercades here, which is bars that have the arcade.
Oh, yeah.
They have Nintendos in them, Super Nintendos, Nintendo 64s, Sega Genesis, Sega Master System. And then they have all the cabinet ones, and
the cabinet ones are good. I used to play. My favorite ones were Centipede, Missile Command, and Galaga.
Yeah, my favorite was one called Russian Attack.
Yeah, Russian Attack's good.
I pumped quarters into that son of a bitch.
Afterburner was good too.
Afterburner was great. It was the first flying game where you could do flip upside down.
Because before that, it was 1942, and 1942 was two-dimensional.
Yep. Yeah, it was just literally like Zaxxon was pretty three-dimensional, but it still couldn't flip upside. It wasn't first person.
Yeah.
First person was Afterburner. Awesome. Yeah. I like when they got the cabinet game where you could sit in it and it would go up and down with you on that one. But yeah, I have the Top Gun game for Nintendo. Coolest part about that is the music. It's like so weird. So nice. Another thing I was thinking about the publisher.
Take me off the giant screen.
Oh yeah, sorry about the doing the publishers when we've thrown some wrenches when we get together. It's funny that I kind of was thinking about doing Lev Gleason 2, and I'm glad I didn't because I was going to choose a Silver Streak. At least I was going to have that one with the Jack Cole one with the not the first one, but the third one. I think it is.
I'd love to do Atlas, but God, there's so many good ones.
When I did the Atlas, I didn't want to put in Journey and Mystery, but there's I could do a whole Journey and Mystery. We
could all three do Atlas, and we could do like Atlas War, Atlas PCH, Atlas pre-hero monsters. Like there's so many Atlas books.
Yeah. I mean, I was thinking, I was like, I'm gonna look for Carl Burgess. I mean, I was like, all right, I definitely wanted those three, but then I was like, if I don't have a Carl Burgess here, it's gonna I always tell everybody, God, I love Carl Burgess. I just there's something about him that never respected. He did so many of them. But,
Yeah, you don't hear much about him. Also, Jack Cole we talked about because of Silver Streaks. I don't really hear too much about Jack Cole. He did the Silver Streaks. He also did that that electrocution cover, the orange one with the PCA book, but I can't remember what is it, Web of Evil or something? No,
You're right. I think it's.
I can't. You guys know the one I'm talking about? It's an orange electric chair cover.
Yeah, with he's like going crazy on it, right?
Yeah, he's like laughing hysterically.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's
so
Jack
good.
Cole.
Yeah, that's a Jack Cole cover.
Nice.
It's gotta be his best.
Think of the name of it, but yeah, he's done some real quality stuff, and you just don't really hear his name too often. But
Trojan.
look into what else he did because everything he's done has been like heavy hitter status covers.
Yeah.
Like Irv Novick, everything Irv Novick did is awesome. Everything the guy who did Punch 12, Dynamic 8, what's that guy's name? Gus Ricca.
Okay, yeah.
Those Chesler guys. There's a lot of artists that really aren't that well known. Paul Gattuso did a lot of the Chesler covers too, and he's got some really quality stuff.
Oh, this is a cool one. You ever play Bionic Commando?
Nope.
Yeah.
So this is on the Japanese original, your final boss is up there, Hitler.
Oh, wow. That's cool. Nick Hardy, great call, Chris Barrett.
So they changed that for the American.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I never heard of that one.
Nick Hardy, I obviously great golden age guy, but when he got to the 70s and the early 70s, there was bugs everywhere, man. The guy drew bugs everywhere. Every cover had bugs.
Yeah, Cardi's good. Another name, I don't know why this came to mind. I think they worked on the same book or something at some point. Mike Grell. There are some people who really do know how good Mike Grell is. Mm-hmm. And I knew he was, and he's good, but I picked up some books in a collection a while ago at this point. But there's a lot of like adventure comics with Aquaman stories in them, like 70s, early 80s stuff with Mike Grell art, and it's freaking awesome. Mike Grell is phenomenal.
Yeah,
I know him from
Longbow. I think Mike Grell is
right. He did some Warlord, I think, too.
Is he the cover of? Is this Mike Grell?
No, I don't think he did the covers. That's probably I can't think of the name off the top of my head who did most of those covers.
Because this is a good book. I love this one.
Yeah, the interior stuff.
Yeah, that's why I was reading this because I'm waiting. Coming out May is the entire Spectre run from Golden Age through the 90s. Big hardcover coming out.
Yeah, Grell did Green Arrow too, Chris Barrett's saying. And the Warlord run is Mike Grell, and that stuff is fabulous inside. There's some good like full page and half page spreads in there, and those Warlord issues that are awesome. Nobody collects Warlords, and they don't sell for anything, but the interiors are phenomenal.
I used to get a lot of, when I mean Atlas, I got the 70s Atlas. I got a lot of those. Oh, who's that?
This is called Jakku. And he goes in here and he transforms.
Oh. That's his phone booth?
And if it was working, he glows in the dark. His head is kind of like a light bulb. And it's actually like electronic and all this, but it's all beat up. I'd have to maybe get it working, but
you're going to take Oscar's
that's pretty cool. I love the way they drew like tech back then.
Oh yeah.
You know,
it's funny. Somebody says I put Oscar's face on it, but I've got all four faces for it. Maskatron.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
You get into toys, DS?
Not really. I have a couple just sporadically. I'll show you my number one toy, and only because this has
my Oscar Goldman face. For some reason, I like Oscar Goldman's face.
This was the original, but it's missing all the stuff. But my dad gave this to me when I was a kid, and I still have it.
Oh yeah.
And I'll tell you, I remember specifically, and even up until I was a teenager, I had it, and I don't know where it went. But this was the orange snake Yoda.
I had that. I
I
have
had the
that.
orange snake with it, and all the stuff's gone except for the actual figure now. But this is sentimental to me. But this is the coolest thing I own.
My first, yeah, I have my 4 Bosks, one in the card. I've got all my Star Wars ones. I have them all over there. But I have the original Yoda, the one you talked about with the snake, and then the cane came next.
I got a die-cast 80s A10 with retractable landing gear.
Nice.
The Warthog, huh? Nice.
It's got retractable landing gear. This thing's rock solid, man. This thing's awesome.
I miss good toys.
This is the 80s. This is one of
That's
my
it, Jim Aparo. That's it.
one of my toys that survived. I don't have much. I mean, I've got a couple random like that. I got this thing.
You had didn't you talk about you had a bunch of Transformers and then you sold them or something?
Yeah, I had a bunch of Transformers. I had the full Predaking, the Transformer Voltron version, and sold those. I had all the parts and all the instruction booklets. I saved everything. I don't know. I got random stuff like this glow in the dark skeleton see-through Joker. I don't know.
I have the original Kirby Hulk here with the
Malaysia Loot Crate exclusive or something.
hairy chest Kirby Hulk.
That is a weird Hulk.
It's Kirby Hulk.
I bought this at Walmart.
Can't have this without Kirby Thor.
Pretty cool.
Little skull bowl I bought at Walmart just for decoration. This thing was
You
like
should get the Marks jumbo Thor. Have you seen that?
No.
It's like, so they, army men, the normal army men.
Yeah.
We had as a kid.
I have Amigo Thor.
They're called Marks. I think it's MARX.
Okay.
But they did like every army toy back in the day. But they did some jumbo versions, and they were about this big. And they did the Marvel characters from the like original Marvel cartoon.
Oh, yeah, the 60s one?
Yeah. And that Thor looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
Here's a legit toy I got. I'm holding it for somebody. I think I'm supposed to ship it to them or whatever, but I still have it.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, my kid. I'm not even getting into it. Broke mine.
And this is still in the box. And this is the first version because the second version doesn't have the plastic, so you can't see through it. So the first version, you can see through the plastic. So it's still unopened with the remote control AT. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Somebody tore off the KB Toys sticker, though. I wish they didn't do that.
Oh.
Would have been cool to still see that on there with the price.
You need one of these.
Have my Hank Pym with Ant.
Yeah, I do need that, but I don't have any space for that. Any of that stuff.
Oh, that's, yeah. This is the original Hank Pym
Oh, that's cool.
with the
I
ant.
love that.
Yeah.
If McFarlane made LB Cole inspired, if he made LB Cole inspired toys, would you buy those, DS?
Yes, I would. Yeah, I would. Look, if I had more space, I would collect a little more stuff, but I wouldn't go nuts.
Iron Man.
Yeah, I like that Iron Man.
Yeah, I gotta find the leg. This is why you don't leave your toys out.
Yeah, I think I still have a bunch of stuff in my parents' old house in their basement. I should go dig around and find it. But I had all the G.I. Joes, the Transformers, and I remember I used to get Ziploc bags when I was a kid and save all the weapons and stickers and booklets and everything. I saved all those in Ziploc bags. So when I got some of them, I still had all the accessories for the Predaking figures. I had all the accessories, and they were all in perfect shape. Yeah, I sold that a few years ago for like $125 for the whole thing. I just don't have room to save everything.
Yeah. That is Spider-Man. That was rare. Black suit. Yeah, I get it. Anyway,
Yeah.
all right, so we're gonna work on in a couple of weeks, maybe 2 or 3 weeks. We're gonna send up another. We'll do another one of the publishers and do all that stuff.
I'll do Atlas War, and then I have
That's
a bunch
cool.
on the show because I have a bunch of those, and I should have that Foxhole 1 by then too. So
Right, and if
That's
anybody,
all.
if we didn't do enough Fiction House, that makes sense too. But we should do something like that again.
yeah, Jim Aparo is the one who did those Avengers covers.
Right, that's the event. Yeah, the 80th. I think this was.
Yeah.
Forget what year this was, but I would just finish this run. I always joke with somebody. I'm like, "That's first Snake Eyes right there."
Yeah, that was Alan C.
What is that?
I remember that.
Oh yeah.
And one of the cooler runs. And I
the
just
first
found out that
Cobra
whole-
Commander, do you know where the first Cobra Commander came from? It's that fight comic. There's like
the guy with the hood was.
Yeah.
I always thought it was the Batman Joker. You know, with the who's behind the mat, who's behind the hood.
oh
under the
yeah,
hood. Yeah, first Cobra Commander. So we got to do that one. I was looking. We'll definitely do more publishers next time for sure. But looking forward to doing. Hey, C. Woodard, good 7 cart.
I'm gonna fix my technical difficulties. but-
Yeah, we'll get some more publishers, and if you guys have anything, go to the chat or go to the comments section. Give us ideas. We have some good ones right there. Centaur, that's definitely gonna be up there. But I hope you guys all had fun. Anybody have anything you want to promote for Thursday? You want to talk about your show?
They're doing the show 9 p.m. on Thursday on Tales from the Flip Side. I won't be there, and I think Dino, who's usually with me, won't be there. So it'll be a different crew. So I don't know what they're doing, but I'll be back the week after that. But yeah, still check it out. It's a cool show. I don't know what they're planning on doing, but I won't be there this week.
Chris will do Fawcett. Definitely one of us will take Fawcett. Well, what do you got there? Is that
Ninja Gaiden.
oh? Hey, there was a
What must have played that game.
what was the 1981 Japanese cartoon with a G? Gangdai? I don't know. I just saw it on something streaming, and I hit international, and it came up, and I thought of you. It's definitely manga style.
Is it like a robot or something? Or?
I think it's a guy inside of a robot.
I'd have to see it.
Yeah, I'll look for it again. And I was messing around with the new streaming stuff. So, but thanks everybody for joining us. Thank you all for being a friend. See you guys soon.
Later, guys.
Take care. Let me get the theme song ready to go. Sorry guys for that. There we go. Thanks again, guys.
See you guys.
Thank you for being a friend. Travel time.